Hi, welcome to my child's case study. Stage 1 is a prenatal conception to birth stage. During this stage, my child was at risk for infectious diseases, specifically toxoplasmosis, but it does include HIV, rubella, and AIDS. My child was exposed to toxoplasmosis by me changing the cat's litter box every day, but it can also be caused by eating undercooked or raw meat. Risk of infectious diseases include miscarriage, stillbirth, permanent eye, and brain damage. And the stage that is more at risk is the fetus stage because you develop the disease as when you're carrying the child and you can give it directly to your baby. Possible interventions, it is fairly easier to monitor this kind of disease. All you have to do is take antibiotics while being well monitored, and it helps reduce the risk of infecting your child. And the stage 2, it's infancy and toddlerhood. During this stage, we learn our APGAR score, which helps determine the scale of your newborn baby. And my child's score was 7, meaning that my baby was born in good health. And the way they determine this is if your baby score is from a 7 to a 10, you have a relatively healthy baby when born. And my child was not affected by contact with toxoplasmosis due to antibiotics that I was taking during my pregnancy. And Camilo, at the age of 9 months and 3 weeks, learned gross motor skills, which my child was able to mimic and play patty cakes with me as he was watching me doing it constantly around him until he started to do it by himself. And as he got older, when he was around 11 months, he was able to stand on his own because he started to take control of his own actions. The next stage is stage 3, which is early childhood. During the stage, he learned assimilation and accommodation. At 2 years old, he didn't understand the difference between four-legged animals, but so he would see a cat and think it was a dog just because they had 4 legs. And as he got older, when he accommodated at the age of 6, he understood the differences between legged animals, and he was able to see a cat and know that it was a cat because he knew the differences between all animals. Stage 4 is early and middle childhood. During the stage, they learn different drawing techniques, and they start off with scribbles, and as they grow older, they start making better expressions in their drawings. During Camilo's first art piece, he was only able to show different colors and mix colors, but he still wasn't able to show the elements of his specific drawings. And this was roughly when he was around 3 years old, and it was his first representation for him. As he got older, he was able to use the colors to make a drawing that he specifically wanted, and he was able to make very fine lines with paintbrushes. The next stage is education and cognitive development. During this stage, he was going to school and it was trying to understand what different classrooms settings would work for him. So there's 4 different classroom settings. There's a traditional classroom, a social constructivist classroom, a constructivist classroom, and a cooperative learning classroom. Camilo's classroom was specifically a social constructivist classroom because I thought that it was better for him to learn social skills from a young age, where the teachers still had high authority, but he was able to represent himself and show what he found interesting in a class, but still be corrected when his knowledge was a bit incorrect, and he was able to get the correct answers. Stage 6 was adolescence to adulthood. During this stage, it's hard for them to understand relationships and they're trying to understand themselves. So they have this crisis of them trying to understand who they are as a person. And for this stage, my child, when he went to college, he was having hard time understanding what he was going to do. And so he was able to follow his gut and just kind of find things that he found interesting. And that is when he told me that he decided to take an elective medical term class to try and find out a career that was best for him. And then his milestones, he had several different ones. The most interesting one, at least for me, was that he was able to identify with his Latino culture, which he had trouble when he was younger, but he shows a lot of connections to his heritage. And this is Camilo's school picture. Thank you.